Hey everyone, it's Vinny, and we are back at Aqueduct for some more best bets for Saturday and Sunday's cards. Let's get into it. Race number 7 on Saturday is the Grade 2 Damoiselle Stakes for 2-year-old fillies going 1.125 miles on the main track. And I landed on the number 9, Caldwell Loves Gold for Brad Cox. 9-2 on the morning line. Horse is 2 for 4 in her career. She likes to sit off the pace, and I mean, even in the races she's lost, like even though she's usually pretty heavily bet, which is why I was kind of surprised on the 9-2 morning line. I feel like she will get bet down a little bit from there. She does make a run. Her last race she lost to Lone Speed. I don't think there's going to be Lone Speed in this spot today. I think the pace should be a little honest for her. So for that reason, I landed on the number 9, Caldwell Loves Gold for Brad Cox. I just think she has the potential to be the best runner in this spot. But another runner I am interested in is the number 2 for Chad Brown, Dolomite. I like the pedigree on this one. It's not like a super 2-turn heavy pedigree, but I think it's good enough here. I like the progression between the first 2 starts. I think a 10-1 on the morning line here. I think this 10-1 will probably end up being about like 6 or 7-1. But I think this horse will outrun her odds. She probably will be at least close to the pace. If she's Chad usually does better with his dirt fillies anyway than he does with the Colts. So at 10-1, I'll take the chance here that this one's going to take the step forward. I'm going to hope that we can get at least like 10 to 12-1 on the exacta with the 2-9 here, or the 9-2. Hoping that both ways will play at least 10 to 12-1. If for some reason Caldwell Loves Gold is going to stay around that 4-1 price range, I also will play her to win. I think just by looking at this field, I think she has the most talent of the runners in here. I know the Pletcher horse is going to get bet hard. I've not been sold on that filly all season, so not going to start now. If that one beats me as a chalk, it beats me. Moving on to race number 9, it's the Grade 2 Remsen, everybody's favorite Kentucky Derby prep that just hasn't really produced much in recent years.
But in front and clear, and it will be Mo Donegal to win the Test of the Champion, the Belmont Stakes.
That year, Mo Donegal, who won the Remsen, ended up winning the Belmont.
That's better.
In terms of actual Derby winners, it hasn't really done much. But again, everybody's favorite Derby prep. 2-year-olds going 1.125 miles at Aqueduct, and I have been on the number 3 Dornuch every career start, and I'm sticking with him today. 5-2 on the morning line. I doubt we get 5-2 on this one. I am hoping he stays at 5-2, but I am expecting more of 9-5, but we will see. I think he finally put the pieces together last time out. If his 2 losses where he finished second, he had major excuses in both. I think he's a very good horse. We will see exactly how good he is, though. He is the full brother to Mage, who did win the Derby this year. So we will see. Always worrisome when they do run in the Remsen, though, just because that a very slim chance they end up winning the Derby out of this. But I do like Dornuch. I think he's going to be tough here. I will be keying him in an exacta, though, with the number 2 Domestic Product for Chad Brown and the number 9 Copper Tax. I'm a big fan of Domestic Product. I was actually kind of surprised that this is where he ended up. I kind of thought this would be one of Chad's horses that he ran until, like, he didn't run again until they were 3. The improvement from the first to second start was really good. I think this horse has a big pedigree and has a chance to, if he's talented enough, has a chance to move up a lot of Derby boards with a good run here today. The number 9 Copper Tax, he's been running on a lesser circuit, but he is 5 for 6 lifetime, and half of this game is horses being able to find the wire first, and he seems to be able to do that. They're both 10-1 on the morning line. A hard time believing that they're both going to stay at this 10-1 price against this field. I mean, we'll see. But yeah, I'm going to key Dornuch with these 2 underneath in exactas. If domestic product is a little bit higher, drifts up a little bit to that like 12-1 range, I may play a small win bet on him as well because I am a big fan of that pedigree. But I do think I'm just going to hold firm here and play a win bet on Dornuch and then just key him on top of the number 2 domestic product in Copper Tax in a cold exacta, and hope that Dornuch really is the goods against this field. Looking at Sunday's races, race number 7 is the New York Stallion Series, 7 furlongs for fillies and mares, 3-year-olds and up. And I don't have a morning line yet, but I do like the number 7, a Morning Matcha. Yes, she's been running at smaller tracks like Parks and Delaware, but her speed figures just seem to be a little bit better than the rest of these runners. 7 out of her last 8 races are good enough to beat this field, in my opinion. I'm hoping she's at least 3-1. Again, I don't have morning lines. If she's shorter than 3-1, I will just use her as a single and multi-race wagers, like doubles, pick 3s, pick 4s, things like that. If she is 3-1, if she's at least 3-1, I will also play her to win. I just think she's the best horse in this field. It is a competitive race, but if she runs any of those races, most of her last 7-8 races, she's going to be awfully tough and should be at least right there at the end. Moving on to race number 8 is also the New York Stallion Series for 3-year-olds and up, not fillies and mares. And this looks like a competitive race on paper, and I'm expecting us to get some decent odds here. My top pick is going to be the Canadian Invader, Niagara Skyline. The Wood by Form transfers to Aqueduct. This horse is going to be awfully tough for some of these horses to beat, especially since most of this field, it's very competitive because one race, these horses run huge, and the next race, they just don't show up at all. Very inconsistent group, and the Canadian Invader, Niagara Skyline, kind of seems like he's the most consistent of the bunch. I am going to use him with the 2 maker horses, which are the number 5 Baris and the number 7 Be the Boss. I've been a big fan of Baris since he was 2. Unfortunately, just very inconsistent. But the races that Baris shows up to run in and like actually shows up and runs well, he wins. The issue is that seems to be like every 3 races or so. He has won 2 of his last 4 races. He ran a dud last time out, so maybe this time he does jump back up. I'm expecting Baris will be around double-digit odds. And the number 7, Be the Boss, has a couple races in his past few that are definitely good enough to win here, which is why I'm just going to use him in case for some reason he decides to run big. There's a couple other horses in here like Be the Boss, but I'm just going to use the 2 makers here. I think they both fit well against this field, and I think they'll both at least be like 5-6-1. I am hoping that the exacta combos with these 3 horses, if I played them boxed, will all be over 12-1. If they are not, I am just going to play Niagara Skyline. I'm going to key him just like I'm doing for Dornuch on Saturday. I will just key him on top in a cold exacta with the 5 and 7, and I'll play him to win. But if they all are around 12-1, I will just box the exacta and play a win ticket, and I'll live losing a couple extra dollars boxing, just for the potential case of a big payout with one of the makers winning. So that's it. Those are my 4 best bets. I did pretty good last weekend. Had a couple $15+ winners. You can find my best bets on the best bets tab of racingdudes.com. I've been doing pretty good with the NBA and the NFL as well. Check them out. I usually post a few plays a week, so not a ton of action, but I'm focusing more on quality wagers and actually cashing rather than just playing 20 things a night and hoping to make my money back. So that's my gambling strategy with this. But best of luck if you are playing Aqueduct this weekend, and I will see you next time.